Hello, beauties. Welcome to Moms Unboxed, a podcast where I unbox with you the how-tos, tips, and tricks to empower women to upgrade relationships, intimacy, and parenting. I'm your host, Melanie Caroline, a multi-dimensional woman, life coach, lover, and mom who's made a lot of fucking mistakes. If you want to live a sensual and liberated life, you've come to the right space. Don't forget to follow Moms Unboxed because you don't want to miss an episode. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Moms Unboxed. How you mamas doing this week? I want to hear from you. Connect with me at Moms Unboxed Podcast on Instagram. Woo, I'm loving this fall weather. Today, I took my dog on a walk and I noticed all the yellows and greens and oranges on the tree, the pumpkins on the stoop. Like, it has been the vibes lately. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today we are talking about parenting and intimacy. How in the hell do you balance it? For me, it's been a long time since I've had little ones. And I went to this moms group and realized I have been so far removed from the baby scene and the toddler scene that I have completely forgotten what it's like to balance sex and parenting. So if you know a mama out there who has little ones and is struggling to find time for intimacy in her relationship, send her this episode because today we're going to be talking about 5 things that you need to do in order to bring that intimacy and sex back into your relationship. So I've been doing some research on this topic, and The Cut, a blog/magazine from New York, did this research study on like 230 participants, and they asked the participants a few questions. Is it appropriate to tell the kids about your intimacy life? Do they think that they need to tell the kids about their need for privacy? Is it appropriate to be intimate at all in a relationship when you have little ones? The study is going to be extremely interesting and might even surprise you. What is the first thing that you need in order to bring that intimacy back in your relationship? And one of the things that I found and still find that is extremely important, because I still have young ones, okay? They're 10-year-old twins and 3 teenagers that are in the house. So I still too have to balance my time with the kids and being intimate in my relationship, let alone I live in a 1920s house and I don't even have drywall. So it's like plaster, and these walls are hella thin. And I have kids upstairs, a kid downstairs, and it's just, you can fucking hear everything, like literally everything. So you have to be comfortable with having communication around sex and intimacy with your partner. And communication is super important because, especially as females, we want to feel safe having emotions and expressing our emotions. And if our partner is getting defensive, they are stonewalling you or making you feel guilty about your emotions, then sex and intimacy is just like the furthest thing away that we want, because we lead with our emotions first and we want to feel secure and safe and expressing our issues around intimacy and sex. For me, it's, I don't really want to be having sex when the kids are around because, like I said, everyone can hear everything up in this house. For you, it might be a mood killer because you're so exhausted, and expressing that exhaustion to your partner and then making you feel guilty to have sex isn't at all appropriate. That is not the way we want to be engaging in sex. So you first want to have the conversation. Be able to talk about any resentments you might be experiencing with your relationship. Are you feeling like you're doing more work and you're doing all the cooking and the cleaning and the running the errands, where your partner comes home from work and they're playing games or completely tuning out? And in order to have the space and the energy and the time to be intimate, you're going to want to ask your partner, hey, I really want to be intimate with you. I want to have sex with you. Yes, there's a difference between intimacy and sex. We'll get to that. But in order for me to do those things, I really would love more help when you come home. I need to find within myself the energy to be more intimate. Is there a way you can meet me there where I need to be met so that you and I can have that time later? It's okay to ask for help, mamas. You shouldn't be doing all the things, okay? Parenting is a partnership, and we really have to advocate for ourselves to share all the chores, share the errands, the mental tasks that leave us so depleting. Exhaustion can be one of the biggest barriers of intimacy and sex. It's easy at the end of the night, give each other a kiss and then roll over and go to sleep because you're like, I want the pleasure, but I don't have the energy for the pleasure. Like it's just not a thing. So when we ask for help, that leaves a little reserve in our energy tank to use for you and your partner. And if you have older kids, it's okay to ask them for help too. Hey, you are 12 years old, girlfriend. It is time to learn how to do your own laundry. Or, hey, you're 14 years old. I think you can help with the kitchen nowadays. It's okay to start divvying out some of the chores for the children that are capable of doing so. And that's also going to help you feel more energetic, more alive. You have more time and energy and space, and it allows you time to be more intimate and go on a date or spend more time having the conversation with your partner while your kids are doing the dishes. Utilize the support that you have and always communicate. When communication breaks down in a relationship, everything else follows after that. So you want to work on that communication, work on expressing yourself and advocating for yourself. So I said that intimacy and sex are different, okay? That's because it's true. Intimacy is the foundation to a good sex life. And you get to have that emotional closeness, feeling seen, heard, understood, valued by being intimate with each other. It's that soft hand on your lower back or the kiss on your nose and forehead. It's the hug he gives you from behind when you're doing the dishes and telling you that he values you and he appreciates all the hard work that you're doing together to create a beautiful space and a peaceful environment. It's when you take a shower together and you can really just be in each other's space and he's washing your body for you. Intimacy. It's so many things. It's emotional connection and it's embracing each other in a non-sexual way. It's the simple gestures that creates the level of intimacy that women desire and want with their life. That's what brings a woman pleasure. It's those warm inner feelings. It's not the penetration. Okay? Of course, we love penetration, but it's the intimacy that really, really makes a loving, genuine relationship. It's that connection that we all seek and want and desire for ourselves. Even when sex isn't on the table, intimacy can always be present. in a relationship. And you have to ask yourself, what type of intimacy really makes you feel emotionally connected? And are you comfortable with having that connection in front of your children? I personally believe that it's healthy to demonstrate to children and teenagers, what does a healthy, loving, connected relationship look like? And I am all about PDA, okay? Even in the store, it's like, why not kiss your partner when you're waiting in the grocery line? Or why not hold each other's hand when you're going for a walk? Why not kiss in front of your kids or slap each other's asses in front of your kids? And then you get to giggle and laugh. I want my children to see what a fun, connected relationship looks like, because many of the examples, at least in my generation, were of parents who did not display their affection for each other. Like, hell, I still have family members that sleep in separate rooms and they're not connected. They don't kiss. They barely hug. Like, that is not the example that I want my children to live with. I don't want that to be their experience. I want their experience and their remembrance of my relationship with my partner to be, Donnie and Mel fucking love each other. They make each other laugh. He chases her around the dining table. He hugs her. They dance in the kitchen. They kiss. They take showers together. Like, I absolutely believe that that's appropriate, because that's what I want my kids to have. I want my children to have the love that I have. So you get to decide for yourself, and with your partner, have the conversation of like, I want to be more affectionate in front of the children, or, hey, I'm not comfortable with that. Please don't do that thing that you do in front of the kids. At the very beginning, when I moved into this house, I was like, no, we're not having sex. The kids are here. Like, not a thing. Nope. Your son is right below us. Your daughter's right above us. I am not okay with that, right? But that's the difference between sex and intimacy. It's completely different energy, okay? What type of intimacy do you want in a relationship? And here we are on the sex issue, is from the study of The Cut, 15% think it's appropriate to tell the kids that they need privacy. And I absolutely agree to a certain extent, because in the back of my mind, I'm like, if we tell the kids we need privacy, they totally know what's happening in here, in this bedroom. So even I'm still battling with this, right? My own security in being able to have sex in a space where the kids are at, okay? And 85% of questionnaire, 85% stated that it depends on how you present it to the kids, which I absolutely agree, right? There's a difference between saying mom and dad need privacy versus we're going to go in the bedroom and have sex. Like, there is a tactful way of saying that you and your partner want privacy, alone time. Okay. I personally have been walked in when my ex-husband and I were having sex. And part of that issue was during COVID, we gave up our bedroom to create a office, study room, and additional room for my daughter. And my ex-husband and I moved into the smaller family room that has 0 door. That was not the greatest idea for our sex life, because it like literally died when we didn't have a bedroom. So I recommend, do not give up your private space. And that comes to another point I have, is co-sleeping with your children. This also can be a sex killer, right? Like, your children sleeping with you is not conducive to having a healthy, fruitful sex life. Now, 10% of the partners in the studies said that intimacy is not important at all. So if you are one of those mamas where you're like, yeah, I don't even give a flying fuck about sex or having any type of intercourse, not even a quickie, it's not my thing, then I hear you, girlfriend. And I ask you, why? What is underneath that not caring? Is it that you're feeling insecure with yourself, or your relationship's not at a point where you want to be intimate or having sex? Or you're going through a lot of hormonal changes and you're just like, I just don't have the drive. I'm attracted to my partner, but it's just not where I'm at. And that's okay. We have to honor where we are at within ourself in order to even be comfortable with having sex. Because I'll tell you what, when I am not feeling my best self and I'm not feeling attracted to myself, or I don't think I look very pretty, like right now, I am not feeling at all like, I'm not loving my look. It diminishes my sex drive. And that's okay, because I honor those feelings and I want you to honor where you're at in this time in your life. But if there is some healing around your relationship or your heart, I want to hear from you. What do you have to say about this topic? Connect with me on Moms Unboxed podcast on Instagram, because I think that this can be a doorway to an even deeper, more connected conversation with your partner. And you have to start understanding what's going on inwardly in order to have that conversation. So just, take some time for yourself and do some of that investigating. So number 3 is improving that communication about sex. Having an open and honest dialogue, like I was stating, is like discovering what's going on internally with yourself that could be contributing to a diminished sex drive or a lack of intimacy in your relationship, and being able to feel safe in that communication can save you from further conflict or distancing yourself from your partner. Because distancing yourself from your partner and having no communication around the topic is not the solution to furthering intimacy and sex in your relationship. That is actually probably going to put out any fire that you actually have for your partner. And that's not great. That's not great. If you have lack of communication around sex and intimacy, there's a good chance that you also have lack of communication in other areas of your life. And one tip that I have is using I statements. And you may have been like, yeah, Mel, I've heard this before. But truly, when we can investigate inwardly and understand what is going on in our body, how we're feeling about ourselves, how we're feeling in our relationship, we take on that responsibility. We don't want to make our partner feel like absolute shit because you're blaming them for your lack of sex drive or wanting sex, right? Because there are so many different factors as to why sex can diminish in a partnership. Like I said, you have so much going on in your life between sports, activities, errands, chores, cooking, cleaning, your own career, your own friends, your own hobbies. Like your partner is going through that same thing. And sometimes what can happen is we solely focus on the finances, the projects, the kids, that you forget that you are a whole ass sexy sensual woman, and you forget that your partner is a fucking hunk and handsome and hilarious, and he makes you laugh and he makes you feel good. But we get so tied up in those other areas of our life that we forget to reconnect. We forget to be those two people that fell in love with each other. It's important in your relationship to talk about, like, hey, I would like to help you understand what my experience is and why we're not having connection or sex. And that helps that person be able to understand your worldview without assuming why you're not having sex, right? Because when we assume someone else's thinking or feelings or emotions, it's likely that we are thinking the worst, right? They're not attracted to us. They don't like how I, did my hair that day. I'm not feeling attracted to me, so I'm not surprised my partner's not making, gestures at me or being intimate with me. We don't want to assume how someone feels. We really want to go inwardly and chat with them about how we're feeling and have that honest conversation. We want to acknowledge what is really happening instead of assuming, because it's true. Physical recovery after birth, stress, frustration, hormonal changes, it all contributes to our sex drive and our intimacy in a relationship. And number 4, schedule and prioritize playful intimacy time. I was doing some reading on Reddit, and someone laid out their whole schedule, and they have their 2-year-old goes to daycare, but their infant has a nanny at home, and the mom works from home, and he comes home early-ish in the day, and he's like, I just don't see any time for intimacy, and I miss the connection with my partner. And people were responding like, hey, why don't you have the nanny have some outside time so you can have the house to yourself, and your wife can take a little break, and you guys can, have sex or create a date night and a time to connect. Now, I know it sounds, at least for me, I'll speak for myself here, ladies. It sounds fucking corny as hell to schedule sex time in your calendar. But here's the thing. We are often ran by our calendar. We are scheduling in play dates and coffee dates and activities and sports. Like literally, we are ran by our calendar. So perhaps scheduling time for sex can be something to look forward to, where you can even do a little self-care day, get your toes done, get your nails done, maybe buy a new piece of lingerie. Shit, I've been wanting to buy me a new piece of lingerie forever. And you get to look forward to that date with your partner, even if it's an at-home date where you put the kids to bed and you light a couple of candles, set them on the table, have strawberries and chocolate, wear your lingerie, and he can wear his boxers, and you guys just have quiet, intimate time together, conversating, literally set rules around the conversation. Okay, we're not going to talk about projects. We're not going to talk about bills. We're not going to talk about daycare or school or the kids or work. Literally talk to each other about anything but those topics. Okay, make it sexy, make it sensual, make it playful. I love play. Literally go to Lovers and buy yourself a new toy and try it out on each other. I have totally done this with Donnie, because, we have 5 kids between us. So it's not like we're able to go on a bunch of dates all the time, but we do have so much fun when we try something new, when we get to experiment with each other and understand what turns each other on and what turns each other off. Make this time be fun and experimental. And when you schedule it in your calendar, don't put sex date or whatever. Find something playful to call it. I wish I can come up with something at the top of my head, but nothing is coming to me right now. But, it could be sexy or sensual playtime. Just put fun into it. Get out of your own busy head and find time to drop into your body and just rub each other's hands, rub like your hand up his arm, touch their collarbone, feel their neck, like feed them strawberries with chocolate or cheesecake or whatever is your most delicious, yummy, yummy dessert, and just be in the mood. Get yourself there. It's okay to take off the parent hat and take off the career hat and do something to set the tone. And I want to anticipate this. So yes, we're going to schedule it in our calendar. Okay. I love that for you guys. Sometimes we have to actually try, right? To like, I want to try and be more intimate tonight. I want to schedule sex time in our calendar when the kids are gone. And it's okay to do that, because I notice if we don't put our energy towards something, we'll just like forget about it and we'll just accept it as the new reality. And I'm sorry, girlfriend, but I do not want your new reality to be we're not intimate and we don't have sex, because that I don't know, for me that's just not living a passionate, sensual, and unboxed life, okay? And that is the goal here, right? On Moms Unboxed. Number 5, I already chatted about this, finding creative ways to connect. When an opportunity arises, girlfriend, take it, okay? If you're in the laundry room and you're folding laundry, okay, the least sexy thing ever, but your partner comes in and starts kissing on your neck, allow yourself to go there. You don't have to get that laundry done right then and there, okay? And I think sometimes it's just hard as moms to disconnect from being a mom. And we're like filled with like, I got this to do. I got groceries to go get. I got cooking to do. Peter, Paul, and Sam need their beds made. It's okay to just drop that for a minute. Allow yourself 15 minutes of sensual and a pleasurable experience. It's okay to do that. Okay. And like I said, do the at-home dates. Have that date night, lighting a candle, putting your phone away, locking the bedroom door. Like, yes, please interact with each other. That has nothing to do with parenting, bills, house projects. Okay. Be present and in the moment. If all you have time for is to be intimate with each other and sit down and watch a movie because you're just literally that exhausted, touch each other's arms. Make out on the couch. Like, when was the last time you truly made out with your partner? Please tell me. I want to know this. It's okay to just make out without having this expectation that it has to go further. And I've actually had this conversation with my partner where it's like, sometimes I just don't want penetration. I just want to be kissed on and touched and loved on. And like, he definitely got the message. Let's just say that. I don't think there has to be this expectation that sex is the end result, because it doesn't need to be. It can just be like this opportunity to come together, to feel pleasure, to feel sensual, to feel loved and valued and seen, and to reconnect on a level that has nothing to do with parenting. All right, mamas, that is what I have for you today. I loved this conversation. I hope these tips and all the wisdom will be helpful to you in your relationship and bringing back some of that intimacy and even sex, because I'm sorry, I know we enjoy those things and we get to experience those things in a liberated, sensual, and unboxed way. Please send this to all your mama friends. I would love to hear from you at Moms Unboxed Podcast. Hit me up. And I'll speak with you next week for another episode on Moms Unboxed. I love you. And don't forget to live a liberated, sensual, and unboxed life, because that's what we do here on Moms Unboxed. Until the next time. Thank you again for listening to Moms Unboxed. Please don't forget to share this episode with all your mommy friends and follow me on Instagram at Moms Unboxed Podcast. Tune in next Thursday for another juicy episode. Until the next time, sunshine.